Scary moment in Game 2 of the 2026 NBA playoffs. Victor Wembanyama goes down after a head impact. Now the biggest question is, how serious is the injury, as well as what this means for the San Antonio Spurs moving forward. If we take a look exactly when the injury did happen, we see that Wembanyama hits directly that right side of that chin. Also, there is a rotational force of that impact that is going to be very key for this type of injury. So if we take a look from this angle here, we see that rotational force and hits the chin twice, and then you can see him grimace in pain immediately afterwards. So let's break this down so that we see that Wembanyama hits directly at that right side of that chin or that right mandible. This direct force to that mandible can lead to potentially a fracture to that bone, maybe a TMJ dysfunction, or even dental issues. If we take a look at this angle here, as we see as he hits the head that first time, we see that head continues to rotate on that floor. And as we continue on this play here, we see that he hits his head a second time. This can definitely lead to an effect of the brainstem as well as those vestibular pathways. We see him grimace in pain immediately, and then you see some odd movements from him. You see that him kind of start to close his eyes. You see that he might be actually knocked out after this second hit. You also see him in more of a limp position, as well as kind of losing his protective reflexes, all of which are signs of a neurological disruption, aka a concussion. And we see from this video here, as he's trying to get up, he immediately loses his balance. This is a complete sign for the medical staff to remove him from the game per protocol from the NBA. So the big question is what a concussion is. So this is a type of traumatic brain injury, specifically a mild traumatic brain injury. But don't let the word mild fool you. So what is happening within the brain? So there is a temporary disruption within the brain function. So this is when there's chemical changes in the brain, and then there's impaired communication between the neurons and other nervous parts of the nervous system. So this will lead to us not being able to function efficiently as we typically can. Some symptoms do include like headache, dizziness, maybe potentially blurred vision, sensitivity to light and noise, and confusion or memory issues. So the NBA has a very strict concussion protocol. For Wembanyama to return, he must go through a stepwise progression of immediate removal and evaluation, rest and symptom monitoring, light aerobic activity, one symptom free, basketball-specific workouts, non-contact practice, full contact practice, as well as final clearance from a team physician and independent neurologist. Treatment is most likely physical and cognitive rest, gradual return to activity, and then monitoring for symptoms and reoccurrence. Unfortunately for Victor Wembanyama and the Spurs, there's really no quick fix. The brain just simply has to heal. Typical recovery timelines range from mild cases of being 5 to 7 days. More of the typical range is at 7 to 14 days, and if it's more significant with significant symptoms, it can last about 2 to 3 weeks. Always the biggest factor for return to play is that symptom resolution. If symptoms linger or worsen, the timeline gets extended, no exceptions. So this is where things get serious for the Spurs. Wembanyama isn't just a contributor, he's the system. Without him, the Spurs lose elite rim protection, offensive versatility, floor spacing, and mismatch creation, as well as their primary defensive anchor, along with being just named the Defensive Player of the Year. So the biggest concern isn't just this injury, it's what happens when he comes back too early. A second concussion before full recovery can lead to prolonged symptoms, increased risk of long-term issues, as well as a rare but serious complications like second impact syndrome. So unfortunately, it's now a waiting game. How quickly do symptoms resolve for Wembanyama, and how disciplined are the Spurs in managing this? Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if you have any questions or comments down below, and thank you so much for watching.